Welcome. This is a installation demonstration of Linux versus Microsoft Windows. A lot of people think that Windows is extremely easy to install, very easy to use, which in some sense it is, but those same people think that Linux is extremely hard to install and extremely hard to get going, and I'm going to prove here that it's not. So I have actually a set of screenshots set up for you. I don't actually have an installation going. It's too hard to get it set up for this. So I'm just going to go through a set of screenshots. So when you first put the CD in, you're going to come up with a welcome screen which shows the Enterprise Linux logo and gives you options of how you want to install it. You can either install it in a graphical mode or you can install it in a command line mode. For this, we're going to do graphical because that's obviously the easiest way to do it. So you pick which way you want to go and you hit the enter key. When you do that, it is going to test the CDs for you to make sure that they're working right, because the last thing you want is to get through an installation and then your installation fails because you have bad CDs. So you can choose to skip this or you can choose to go ahead and set it up. In this case, I chose to skip it. On this screen, very self-explanatory. You get to choose your language for the operating system. As you can see, there are a ton of options to choose from Chinese, Czech, Danish. For ease of use sake, I think we're going to do English today. This part here is probably the only tricky part that you have. This is about setting the boot partition. If you're a new user, all you have to do is hit next because it's going to use the entire hard drive. That's all you have to do. You hit next. And then this screen here, just like Windows, you have to pick a file system. In Windows, that file system is going to be NTFS, which is going to be the default system. In Linux, you're going to choose the default system called ext3. So you choose the default and you hit OK. Again, just like in Windows, you choose your network. Most home users are going to not put an IP address into their system. They're going to accept what's called a DHCP address from their router or their cable modem. In this case, we're going to leave it as a DHCP and then we're going to hit next. Here, you're going to pick your region. So it's extremely easy to do. You've got a whole map here. And then you just pick the region of the country that you're in. In our case, where I'm at, we are going to do New York. And click next. Shows another example, maybe picking Europe or London. And then you pick your password. In the Windows world, it's called administrator. In the Linux world, it's called root. Just like administrator password, you have to pick a password for root. So you type that in, you confirm it, and then click next. Now what's cool about Linux is that there's a lot of different software packages that come pre-installed out of the box. You can choose to install all the packages, which obviously takes up more space, or you can choose to install sets of packages depending on what you're doing. So let's say you're a software developer. You can choose this top option here, which stands for software development, which will pre-install all kinds of development tools that will help you create applications or develop applications, things like that. You can, if you're running some type of a website and you need to make it into a web server, then you just choose the web server part. If there's any drawback to it, to Linux in general, is that it's probably a bit too customizable, as you can see here. But if you just want to accept the default packages, that's going to give you everything that you're going to need. You're going to get a web browser, which is going to be Firefox. You're going to get an Office suite, which is going to be a product called OpenOffice, which is compatible with everything Microsoft Office. You are going to get a image editing program called GIMP, which is similar to Adobe Photoshop. That's all pre-installed. You're going to get an email client called Evolution, which is similar to something like Microsoft Office. So if you choose the defaults, you can click Next. If you want to customize them, then you hit Customize Now, or after the installation, you can always customize them at a later date. So we are going to click Next because we're going to accept all the default packages. And then it starts to go through the install. Now, depending on the size, the install will take anywhere from probably 5 to 10 minutes. So obviously, for time's sake, I've kind of cut that portion out. It's half the reason why I didn't go through the actual install. But 5 to 10 minutes is a lot faster to install this than it is to install Windows. Very, very easy. When you're done, you're going to come up with a welcome screen. All you're going to do is just click Next. And this is where you create your actual users, just like in Windows. You can create a username, what they call a full name. This will be, so my name is Chris Crowell, so I would put Chris Crowell here. And my username would be something like Christopher. And then my password, and then I confirm my password. You can also create additional users on the screen as well, or you can wait until after. And then it comes to the screen where it tells you that the system has to reboot now to make all the changes. And then you're done. It reboots, it brings you to your logon screen, you type in your username, and that's it. You're all set to go. And that is going to be Linux. Like I said, you can have it installed in about 5 to 10 minutes. To go through the initial installation steps is about 5 minutes. The install time is about another 5 to 10. It reboots, asks you to create additional users, brings you to the welcome screen, and you're done. Thank you.